In one of our previous episodes, I was sharing this story about how and why I got into this business. And based on some of the feedback that we received from that episode and thinking through more about it, it reminded me of a really important point of why we do what we do. We want to help people feel understood, not just talk about numbers. And so in today's episode, we're going to talk about how we kind of flip that script around and how we change from planning for clients to planning with clients. Let's get into it. And what you just said there, I can tell you, people who might watch this, they might be like, well, wait, what did Caleb just say? It's their plan. So we can say, okay, so what information do you want to put in it to make it as accurate as you want it to be?
Instead, you sit down with them and you ask them about their situation and you build their plan with them. They build their own plan basically, and we just help guide them through it. And then they can see visually where their real problem is.
So welcome back to the Legacy Life Podcast. It's good to be here on this bright, sunny day in October.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And fall has arrived.
It has.
The leaves are almost,
gone.
I'd say about 60, 70% gone.
Yep. I was driving the other day and I noticed that the trees were pretty much bare now. And I was like, well, it's time for the long haul of winter.
But before that long haul, we can enjoy the cider and the donuts. That's...
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Can't forget that.
Cannot forget those.
No, it's a little value on the way to the long haul. We call it in Michigan of the cold months.
Yeah, specifically the month of February for some reason. It's just it's the shortest month, but feels the coldest.
Well, I think that's why God made it the shortest month.
Yeah,
it's so hard to endure. Let's just get through this and get it done.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I know some people will sit back. They love winter. They love the snow, going outside. And when I was a kid, I did too. I built forts and went sledding. I don't know. As I get older, I just have a different perspective on the cold.
Yep.
I don't mean to rain on anyone else's parade who loves winter, but I look forward to spring.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the warmer weather. But thank God for all four seasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, we get to experience all of it here.
Yep.
Other places of the world, it's like the same all the time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sunny 75 and coconuts. Gosh, that's rough. Yeah.
Yes. And we can tell by a little bit by my voice and the coughing that it is that time of year for
it does happen, doesn't it? When the changing of that temperature and whatever else.
Like clockwork. First week that it happened, it got me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Works on our sinuses. Yeah, I don't have any wood to knock on. I just thank God it hasn't happened to me yet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely the thing. And then reverse that when it gets to spring and starts to warm up, sometimes the same thing happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, bud.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
So what are we getting into today?
Yeah, so today we talk about more about kind of our story and our journey in this planning process with clients and how we have kind of tried to flip that script in the client experience. In this business model for a long time, sitting at kitchen tables, when I first started, there was a lot of explaining and things, but there was also a lot of going away with information and making plans and putting quotes together and then coming back and presenting to people. And, in a lot of that process, a lot of times that disconnect, there's a lot of times that we would end up not being able to reconnect with people. They would kind of just disappear in that process. Mm-hmm. You come back, or sometimes you come back weeks later for the big reveal and say, here's your plan, and start going through it with them. And it's a very common thing in our industry to see. Because, you're setting yourself up, we're the experts. And so we have to go back and do this thing called planning for you. And we've got to put all the brainchild together, the brain trust together, right? And dig deep and put all this stuff together and come back and wow you and impress you with this thing called, your plan that we put together. And you try to make it look impressive. You might even use a Monte Carlo simulation, charts, projections, colors,
Spreadsheets.
spreadsheets. And sometimes, these programs that help you put these things together and design them, you can put them in a binder, and sometimes some of them are over 100 pages in length.
Yeah.
And then what you would find is that even though it was that long, honestly, over the years, you ended up using maybe 2 or 3 pages during your whole time with the client to show them their plan.
Right.
And, um, I really found that the feedback you'd get from clients when you start hearing them kind of, ask them, how do you feel about this plan? And, are you confident with this plan? A lot of times you just kind of got I think so.
Right.
You never felt like it exuded confidence from them. And I really, those experiences early on really, at first it kind of was like a frustrating experience because on my side of the table, I'm kind of like, my gosh, we're spending all this time, we're putting all this together. My gosh, we went through the numbers. Well, it makes sense to me. Where are we going wrong here? And explaining it back to them. Why are they not getting, what we're trying to throw down here and put on the table? And, again, that was coupled with, you'll remember as I'm kind of going on that journey, I talked about listening to all the other advisors at these seminars in fancy suits talking about all the production they were doing and how successful they were being.
Mm-hmm.
And they would say that when they talked about their planning process, I'd be like, well, gosh, it sounds a lot like what I'm doing. So what are they doing different than I'm not doing to capture a lot of the success? And I could never quite figure it out. And so, that's when it kind of dawned on me that I'm like, if I'm kind of feeling like the imposter here where I don't even know, maybe I don't even understand what I'm doing, but they seem to understand what they're doing, that it kind of hit me that this is probably how the clients are feeling.
Yeah.
And so that's when you start kind of going, okay, what needs to change here so I can feel like I have a better connection with people? Because after all, it's why I'm in the business. I want to serve families like ours who went through the time with our grandmother and seeing what other families were going through. Like, you have a heart that you want to help these people plan. You want to help them get from A to B. And that's kind of where the idea for me is kind of like, I want to build a better bridge a better bridge in my conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I want to connect better with people. So what are we doing that's not making the connection? And I also wanted to help these families build bridges to their next generations because we want to see their next generations prosper. They've worked hard for this money. They were disciplined and did all this work, and you want to help them have a good baton handoff in their estate planning and maybe even for successive generations after that. So why can't we do this better? Why is there this big disconnect? And, I really began to slowly begin to understand that the person on the other side of the table was looking to be understood, not necessarily just have facts and figures thrown to them, right? And so that slowly began to dawn on me, sitting in several appointments where you're sitting there and saying, you know what? I'm doing more presenting and showing and this big thing that I want them to be impressed with. And I'm not sure I've asked enough good questions to really know where they're at and what they're actually looking for. Yep. I just was making assumptions based on information. This is how you're going to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what job? What was the actual problem? I realized that, I don't even think I'm looking at the real problems. I'm just making assumptions that we're going to build you a beautiful plan and you're going to be fine. And I just found that over time just wasn't a great model. And I'm talking a lot here. Is there anything you want to say?
Yeah. I'd never really experienced the other side of the coin all that much as far as the making plans for people. I came in more so after you'd had the realization and then started to implement some changes.
Yeah.
But what I have noticed is that most people, when they do come in after our first conversation, just simply say, no one's ever taken the time to do this with me.
Yeah.
No one's ever taken the time to do this with me.
Right.
Right. And
right.
so,
yeah.
and they say that all the time. And I think the cool thing about your process that I've really noticed is that you, again, like when you take the plan and like make it for them, like behind closed doors. There's some like secretive, like
Yeah.
secret sauce,
Right.
like aspect to it.
Yeah.
It's like I gotta
Yeah.
go, yeah, like you were doing, just like go make it like magically somewhere, and like you can't see
Yeah.
me do it, but I'll bring it back to you, and all your problems will be answered, right?
Right.
But instead, you sit down with them and you ask them about their situation and you build their plan with them. And when we say build their plan, it's not like there's a cookie cutter way of doing it. It's they're building their plan and we're just showing them where to put certain pieces of information that help build their plan. And then they build their own plan basically, and we just help guide them through it. And then they can see visually where their real problem is. And you can go through all sorts of different situations, whatever circumstances may come up in life, different investment options and things like that. And you can just see exactly how it's going to affect their plan for the rest of their life. And I just think it's really cool because, I mean, from what I've heard from you, because I haven't really seen it all that much on that side of the industry, that like it's just not a very common thing to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think to what it did is when we started saying, okay, we're going to meet with people, but during that meeting, as we're talking and asking better questions, we're going to start using that information right then and there to begin to see the construction
Right.
of their plan. And it's their plan. So
Right.
we can say, okay, so what information do you want to put in it to make it as accurate as you want it to be?
Exactly.
Because it's theirs.
Yep.
And that changed the entire conversation, because what that did is it allowed them to be proactive. As you know, sometimes we even offer, here, do you want the keyboard?
Yeah, we
to the
let them
computer?
type
Here,
it
you
in.
can
Yeah.
type it in, right, and have that interactive experience. And our software we use, Simplicity, it allows them to see it all constructed before their very eyes, and actually does not allow us advisors to put any assumed rates or anything in it. Actually will calculate real numbers for them. I think that's really key.
Yep.
But what it opens the door to, and then I think you have a comment, is the piece on education, which is really huge. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just saying, in that planning process, the part about assumptions I think is really important, is that we're trying to solve for, like, if we're trying to solve for income for retirement, we're trying to figure it out so that you don't have to get a rate of return on your investments to have the income that you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can make a rate of return, but we want it to be so that you don't have to, or have the lowest rate of return possible required year in and year out. So you don't have to, so you have that peace of mind knowing that, okay, if I don't make anything this year, like I'm still going to have income for retirement, whatever it is. And so instead of making all the assumptions that maybe a lot of plans make or different programs make, we just want to be like, nope, these are the real numbers. This is where you're actually at. Here's what we can look at.
And what you just said there, I can tell you, people who might watch this, they might be like, well, wait, what did Caleb just say?
Yeah.
What do you mean no rate of return? Okay. And so that's kind of piggybacking into the education piece, where, you can challenge people and say, hey, look, why does someone like me even exist? A financial planner, a retirement planner. Why do you need someone like me? I mean, right? I mean, with all the information out there today, you might have heard there's some fund out there that's making 10%.
Yeah.
Right? So you can go to some stockbroker. He can say, yeah, I've got this fund. It averages 10% return. And you're like, okay, well, with my basic calculations here, I think, I got Social Security, I got a pension, got this money I've saved. I need to take out about 5% of that out every year. So what's the assumption, right? Well, I'm making 10.
Right.
I just need to withdraw 5. I'll never run out of money. Problem solved, right?
Because you're going to make 10 every year for the rest of your life, right?
You're going to average 10 and you're going to take out 5. I should never run out of money.
Sure.
So why do you need someone like me?
Right.
Right? Problem solved. But hang on a minute. This is where the education comes in. And this is what you were getting at when you're talking about that rate of return,
right?
That average rate of return. That's Wall Street math, right? We actually want to get down to the brass tacks of the real math.
Yep.
And maybe we'll do an episode on that and talk about, that. Because, I mean, if you want to just real quickly, we can get into that,
Yeah.
that you're making 10, you're just taking out 5. Well, let's just do a real simple thing here. Let's just take $100,000. Just real quick here. So just give you the example of education here.
Yeah.
Just a real simple example here. You got $100,000. And let's just say, okay, it goes down 50 the first year and then up 50 the second year. What is Wall Street going to tell you is your rate of return after those 2 years? Down 50, up 50. They're going
Right.
to say 0.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
And then in the third year, yippee, it goes up 30%. Okay? So over those 3 years, down 50, up 50, and then up 30.
Right.
Right? So you got 0 the first 2 years, and you got 30% the third year. Divide that by 3 years. 30 divided by 3 is 10.
Yeah.
So your average is 10%.
Right.
Okay? Now, let's look at the real math. $100,000 minus 50. What do you have? You now have $50,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Year 2, you make 50%. What do you have? Wait a minute. 50% of 50,000 is only 25,000.
Yeah.
You add that to 50, you have $75,000. 75,000 times 30% goes up, you have about 97,000. So after 3 years, you're averaging 10%, but you don't even have the same amount of money you started with 3 years ago.
You're down 3,000.
And you know what I didn't say here? You were also taking 5% out in withdrawals. We didn't calculate that in at the same time.
Right. So you have less.
Right. A lot less. So you see, there's Wall Street math and then there's actual math.
Yeah.
So people can see, well, this is why planning is so important and why the education is so important and why
Right.
building plans with an advisor is so important. So you can go through and actually see these things in real time.
Yeah.
And so when you, and look, and with the educational part, that means the clients are going to come in and they're going to bring in their assumptions and the things they've learned and heard out there too. And that's fine. Even if some of it's not correct, or maybe they're good points they're bringing in, but they're going to bring their own stuff into the appointment to talk about, and that's perfectly fine and should be part of the conversation. I think that makes some advisors afraid.
Yeah.
Because they just want someone just to say, we want to be able to say here and, just do this. No, the education piece is so important.
Yeah.
Because you want to understand in your plan where the numbers are coming from, why this investment versus this investment works, or doesn't work, because it's just as important to know what does work as much as what doesn't work, because then that will bring the confidence and the trust in that the plan is going to actually work for you and do what you need it to do.
Right.
Because I think you said a few minutes ago, my plan, your plan, their plan is not going to look the same.
No, it won't. And yeah, it can't be like cookie cutter. That's the thing. It's everyone's situation is so different. And some people may have similar, either like similar net worths or similar situations in their life, but everyone's minutia of their life is very different. But so the education piece is really important. Like our hope is that you understand it so well, you don't need us to do it for you.
Right.
Like you could do it on your own.
Good.
Right.
Yep.
Now we're not necessarily going to tell you everything specifically that we necessarily do, because that's our blood, sweat, and tears. But
yes,
like we want you to understand the concept and be able to do it on your own 100%.
Yep. If you can identify the problem for them, I mean, our first goal is to be like the doctor who diagnoses first if there's something wrong. And if there is, then you can know. And then from there, you can decide, do you want our help? Do you want someone else's help? Because if you come in and just do it, that's the one thing we make sure people understand, is that if you're going to come in and let us help you build a plan with you, it doesn't mean you have to break up with your current advisor or firm.
No.
At all.
No.
It just means
we're not going to charge you to build a plan either.
Right. You just need to know what the actual problems are, if there are any.
Yep.
And so that you know what you're facing, and then you can decide what you want to do about it.
Yep.
And that whole paradigm that we're describing here just completely changed our entire process. I think it's changed our relationships with our clients in some very profound ways. And I'm just so thankful that, the Lord had that mercy to be able to kind of lead us through that process of helping us see a better way. But I don't know that I ever would have found it had I not known the other that I had known earlier. I had to experience that so that my heart could react to it, and I could begin to ask the questions, and to, that part of the process was just as important for us to get to where we are now. Right.
Yeah.
So joy in the journey, as you say.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean I think that's that is one of the big critical pieces we talked about. Um,
It is kind of like the lifeblood of what we do
it
in
is.
that specifically.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the start of a relationship with a person and a family that we're serving.
Yeah.
But that heart stays the whole time. Education is
Yeah, is the
number one.
bedrock.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
transparency.
right. And by starting there, this, and maybe this leads into another episode of kind of what comes next, because once you're able to build a plan with them and get the foundational pieces in order, that opens the discussion for all the other things about
Yep.
retirement that you need to look at. Well,
Yep.
what about long-term care? What about estate planning? What about, all these things? All those things now make sense and have a context
Yeah.
to solve for and to plan about, because you've taken care of this part first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just made planning so much better. And, like I wake up now knowing we get to plan this way with people today, and I feel really good about it. And like I'm excited every time. Okay, we got an appointment today. Someone's coming in. We're going to build a plan with them. I'm just like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to be a great experience for them, and no matter what happens,
Yep.
So and that's a great feeling to have.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if what we said today resonates with you and you would like to have a chance of having the opportunity to be able to sit with us or on Zoom, to be able to have someone build a plan with you, or to see where you're at in your financial planning, we would love the opportunity to be able to do that. And in our show notes, or as always, every week, there's a link to our calendar so you can see what is available and schedule a time. And we can't wait to meet some of you. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them. Let us know other topics you'd like us to cover in the notes. We'd love to hear that. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Every Monday, there'll be a new episode. And we look forward to seeing and talking with some of you very soon. Thank you.